Well, good morning, Upper Sandusky staff. Hope you're having a good day today. The purpose of this video is now that Zoom seems to be up and running for many of you, and I'm excited to hear that. I'm not sure if anybody's gone in and explored the settings for Zoom for your account so that when you start a new Zoom room or host a scheduled meeting, when it activates and goes live, how are things going to look for the end user and for yourself based on how you have it set up. So as you can see over here on the screen, I've got myself logged into my Zoom account, and I'm on the settings tab over here on the left, as you can see. And I'm literally just going to work my way down the settings of what to turn on and turn off. Again, this is at your jurisdiction for what you would like yours to be. This is what I've done for mine. It might be my recommendations to look like it, but at the same time, it's your call. So here we go. Let's start out with host meetings. Start meetings with the video on. If you don't want your camera to be live when a meeting starts, you can just disable that. I don't mind that mine is on when a meeting starts, so that's why mine is enabled. When a participant joins, what do you want their webcam to be like? I have mine turned off. I could always enable this for the end user once they started, but I'm not necessarily sure the end user might want their webcam activated automatically for whatever reason that might be. And maybe this is a situation where maybe you're not going to use their camera ever, just for protection so that the end user, I hate to say this, but might inappropriately do something which would not be something your eyeballs would want to see. So you can, again, at your jurisdiction, enable that if you need to when your meeting's already started. But again, this would just be the default. Audio type, how can a person join your meeting? Can they come in through a telephone? If they can, if they don't have internet access but would still be able to at least talk over the web, then you could do it that way. I'm going to leave both of them as an option for my end users. Can a participant join the room before I'm actually inside? And so I've got that turned on. Just maybe I'm going to be a minute late or whatever. My meeting would start. They could be in the meeting, and they're just waiting for me then to start it. Use my Zoom room when I schedule a meeting, and that's turned off. If I'm going to schedule a meeting, I'm going to schedule it with a particular meeting room, not the one that is just for me. And if I start an instant meeting, again, I'm not going to use my personal room. I'll want that to be a scheduled room. Authenticated users, I'm not going to get involved with having to have people have passwords to join and whatever. I mean, those are barriers that might get somebody frustrated or unable to join a meeting or my Zoom room. So I'm just going to leave that turned off. Same thing here with passwords and passwords and passwords and passwords. Nah. Mute participants upon entry. I've got that turned on, meaning when my meeting goes live, I don't want a lot of chatter if maybe I've got 7 or 8 students who have entered my room. I'm going to automatically do that myself once the room is live through the mute all or mute one of them one at a time. But I'm going to turn mine so that when a kid or a parent comes in, they're muted. As I had earlier, their webcam is also turned off. Finally, upcoming meeting reminders. I don't mind having somebody send me an email to say, hey, don't forget about your upcoming scheduled meeting. So I have mine turned on. So once the meeting started, in the basic version that we've got going here, just a few of these that we've got activated. Chat. I've got chat turned on because I do want people to have the ability, maybe on the right side there, to type something in. Maybe they don't want to have to say it over the audio chat that's going, audio conversation that's going, but rather just typing it in. So I do have that turned on. Private chat, I don't like that. I think that's just, I don't want to get anything in trouble. I don't want to have anything said that I was doing something privately between myself and the student. So don't do it. So leave it turned off. Autosave my chats. I don't necessarily need to autosave all of the chats that I have going on. I can do that on an individual basis from the meeting room. But so for right now, I'm just going to have mine turned off. Play a sound when somebody joins. I don't mind that. I might be in my room and I might not be in front of my computer, but if I hear the ding, then I know somebody has joined my room and I need to get over to my computer. So I have that just for myself. If a person joins, only me, the host, will hear that. When a person joins over the telephone, do I want to record and play their voice? That's your call. I don't really care about that. I don't think too many people are going to reach me over the phone, since most of the people that are reaching out to me are teachers. So again, your call. Now, one's a little more complex, but you have the ability to send through Zoom. Let's say it's kind of like an attachment to an email. You can attach a file and pass that file from you to the other person and vice versa. But for me, I want to make sure that I'm only passing those files that are specifically files that I know about. So as you can see here, .doc and .docx, those are Word files. XLS and XLSX, Excel spreadsheet files. CSV is another type of Excel spreadsheet file type. PPT and PPTX, those are PowerPoint files. A PDF file, a JPEG, which would be an image, or a PNG file, again, an image. Those are the only ones that I want to have myself be able to pass to a student and the student pass back to me. Hopefully most everybody's using Google Drive. So we're going to have unique URLs that we could share. But if there is a specific PDF or something that you might want to pass to a student through Zoom, just hit that little pencil icon and type those in. So revisit this video if you missed this or you want to come back later and see that to add in. Feedback to Zoom, don't need to. Do they need to have some kind of experience survey at the end of the meeting? No. Now, teachers who might have co-teachers, this might be something you'd want to turn on, meaning you could have like two hosts, one person the main, one person the secondary, but both have full controls of the room. Might be of interest to you. I'll let you make the call there. Polling, maybe you want to throw a question out during your meeting about, does everybody get this? What are your thoughts on something? If you throw out a poll, that'll show up at the bottom of your screen as a feature that you could activate and enable and poll your room as to things that you might find of interest. So again, turn that on. Maybe somebody comes into the room and for some reason that person's not being very nice and you want to temporarily kick them out of the room. If you turn that on, you have the ability to remove an attendee from a meeting. So again, your call, as are all these suggestions. Show the control bar at the bottom of it. I think that's a no-brainer so that I can control my meeting session. I have that enabled. Show the Zoom windows when I'm sharing the screen. I haven't found that to be effective. Again, play with that, turn it on and off if you think that's necessary. Now, screen sharing. So at the bottom of your control screen of a Zoom window, you have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to show you what is on my desktop right now or in my Chrome browser tab so they can view what you're seeing on their end. And for right now, I've got mine set that I can share my screen, but I'm also going to ask somebody if they want to share their screen with me so I can see maybe what they're doing, what they might be having a problem with. For me, this is good for tech support with my teachers so that they can show me what they're having a problem with. Who can start sharing when somebody else is sharing? And right now, I've got mine here. So if I have multiple people in the room and somebody is sharing their desktop with me, the next person who could share is going to be me. I don't want to have a lot of kids all trying to throw their screens up at the same time. So I'm trying to control the share process through those settings. Disable the whole process. That might be, maybe you have no need for ever doing any desktop sharing. So you could just turn it off altogether. Annotation. So you have the ability on a screen when sharing it to kind of mark it up, like right over the top of it with a pencil, a highlighter. That could be very effective. That's enabled for me. There's a whiteboard sharing. So when you go to share screen, one of the things that you could share is a whiteboard. So it's kind of like a white marker board, and you've got the marker and you want to kind of draw or write or diagram. If you want that feature enabled, you can turn it on here and it will become then a feature on your share screen button. And then do you want to save that? Maybe there's some material that I did on a whiteboard that could be of validity later on. And so instead of having to redo it all, I could save that whiteboard when I'm done with it. Remote control. This is the ability to kind of take over the other person's computer. And for right now, I don't think that's a good idea, specifically with your students or your parents. so that nobody could say that you messed something up on their end. I might use it sometime if a person is having a problem with your computer and you'd like for me to kind of take over the controls. I could always turn that on if I needed to do that with you. Nonverbal feedback, that's the ability for them to kind of show icons of like, hey, a thumbs up or things like that. I think it's called reactions. If you want to enable that, go for it by enabling it. And then finally, remove participants to join. So if I kick somebody out, but I want to let them to be able to come back in, I can have that enabled. Or once I kick them out of this meeting, I don't think they have the right to come back, I could just turn that off. Advanced, now there are some features in here that I don't think we get with our paid license. And as you can see, the only one I think I've got turned on is the virtual background. Now that's a scenario where, and this would be totally just for fun, but you could make the background behind you, instead of be just what's behind you, you could enable a beach scene, you could enable the Eiffel Tower, you could whatever. That would totally be just for fun. And if you don't see yourself ever doing that, you can turn that off. I even haven't had a chance to try it myself, but I surely am going to, so I'm going to leave mine on. And I have just about everything turned off except for this one. This is an interesting one. Show a join from your browser link. That's basically where somebody might not be able to download. Maybe they're an end user that just really struggles with anything that's kind of more technically based. If they click the join from your browser, they'll be able to do that without downloading anything, but it's limiting the capabilities that that end user has. So that might be something that we're going to figure out. If an end user needs it, I might just enable it just in case somebody is like that and just can't seem to figure out how to get through the setting up of the Zoom app on their computer scenario. And then allow streaming meetings. I don't really know what that is. I haven't done anything with it. Oh, it looks like I can post these live through multiple platforms. For right now, that seems to be even just more complex, so I'm going to stay away from that. Email notifications. So this is just a scenario when you have a meeting going, starting or ending, do you want to receive some email notifications about that event? As you can see here, there's a bunch of different things you can turn on and turn off related to a meeting, and its capability of kicking you an email notification. Do with that what you want. If you're hosting a lot of meetings, you might get a lot of emails. That might be overwhelming, so feel free to make a call on that. And then down here under other, I don't think I'm messing with anything here right now because I just don't think it's necessary. So that is settings for meetings. I'm going to move one meeting over, or one tab over, and let's talk about settings related to recordings. You do have the capability, because of you having a licensed account, to be able to record your meetings, whether that be because you just want a safety belt to have evidence of the meetings that you have hosted, if somebody wanted to know that. If you needed it for some reason where somebody calls you out and you have to have some evidence of something, recording these would be and are available to you. There's not as many of them, so this won't take quite as long, but let me just go through them. The first one is local recording. Allow the host and the participants to record their meeting to a local file. This means it would save to your computer's hard drive. So that's available if that's something that you would like access to. I believe in our licensed account, we also get access to save to the Zoom cloud, meaning your hard drive would not fill up with a lot of videos, which is, sometimes could be very, very large, and reduce the size or space that your hard drive would have over time. So something to think about for local saving. And then we have the whole scenario where we get access to their cloud. So I'm going to save it up there. It'll go into my Zoom account under my recording so that I can go and pull up the cloud saved files if I ever need to. But again, here's a lot of settings. So record me, record anything that's being shared. You can do whatever you want there. Save the chat that was up into the cloud. Feel free to mimic what I have. Feel free to add or take away. But again, you'd have to turn on your cloud recording capabilities. I'm not going to automatically record everyone. I don't think everyone needs to. That would take up a lot of space over time. There is a record button in your Zoom meeting control bar that you could just turn it on there. You don't have to automatically done. If you feel like you want to start recording, hit the record button and off it goes to record. IP address, don't worry about. Again, authentication passwords, don't worry about. I'm going to take advantage of the delete from the cloud from so many days. If I haven't needed that for 120 days, it will wipe them off of the cloud and I'll lose them, and that's my call. You don't have to do this. This might be something you want to consider, but I think we have unlimited cloud, so again, that's up to us. The host can delete cloud recordings. I don't even get access to that, so don't even worry about it. When you hit the record button, do you want to give consent to the end user to let them know that you're going to record this? And if they say no, then you would not be able to record that, at least, or anything that's coming from their end back into the meeting room. Finally, then, just multiple notifications. I don't want that. So that's what I have set up for my recording. And then finally, for your telephone calls, there's a couple things in here that you can turn off. I'm not dealing with international people, so I'm not doing that. I can't have access to the toll call section, so can't do anything there. Masks phone numbers in the participant list. So if you don't really want to have people having any exposure of the real phone numbers, if they call in, you could tell the service just to mask it, make it look like something else, and that might make your call-in people just a little bit more happy. So brief overview, settings tab, and the 3 tabs related to what you can control. I'm hoping this has been of benefit for you, and if so, great. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.